Cullen's nose twisted grotesquely as the alien slammed his face against the cold steel slab. Blood seeped onto the interrogation table. No one was coming to save him. His lips tore open. "You?" the CERN commander barked. "Know damn well the planet doesn't send rescue teams for disposable meat." Blood-soaked and defiant, Cullen cracked a crooked grin. "They're not sending rescuers," he rasped. "They're sending something far worse." Nar-7 wasn't meant for war. It was just a mining colony, an unforgiving rock cloaked in sulphurous fog and raging dust storms, orbiting a dead gas giant. But when the CERN Dominion needed leverage, it transformed, a prison designed not for justice or order, but for spectacle. Geneva Conventions, rights, rules, none applied here. This hellhole existed to display human suffering, and Sergeant Eli Cullen was its star. One tactical crash into a cyclone, 3 Black Ops deployments, 6 tours. It wasn't pain that shattered him. It was the silence. Waking to fists, crying through interrogations, sleeping on unforgiving concrete. The guards weren't after answers. They craved footage. Propaganda starring a broken soldier. Despite his oath to the Dominion, Cullen refused to give them the performance they wanted. So they cut his rations, increased the voltage. They drew blood with fangs, left him to rot, bleeding against the wall of cell 19. Then one day, someone new arrived, an officer. Calm, no armor, just eyes like knives, weighing Cullen like meat. "Earth hasn't even filed a protest," he said quietly. "You know why Cullen spewed pink mist?" He let the question hang, smiled, and turned away. "You've been forgotten. They're smarter than you." Mojave Desert, 200 Pernipit underground. A control panel blinked red, not blazing, not loud, just a slow, deliberate glow. The man watching it stood up. He punched a code not found in any official documentation. 4 steel doors hissed open. Inside, 1 black chair, 1 locker, 2 letters printed on it, GH. The man had been sitting for hours, maybe days, waiting. When the technician arrived, there were no words, just a duffel bag. Package confirmed. Clearance override 9. Inside the bag, 1 black blade, 1 folded cloak, 1 figure standing slowly like a wolf emerging from hibernation. Target, a chip, fingernail-sized, still buzzing with residual heat. The man's voice was gravel and ash. He left no clearance, no retinal scan, just purpose. The technician muttered, "This mission never existed." "Good," said the man. "Neither do I. Record no spacecraft." Instead, a magnetic sling launched him into orbit. A blackout window, no monitoring. A stealth pod knifed into NAR-7 sulfur clouds. No explosion, no quake, just silence, and a cracked shell from which a ghost emerged. He didn't march. He flowed. At one point, a patrol passed within 5 mi. One of them turned, confused. Nothing there. Motion sensors, drones, cameras, all spoofed, all rewritten. By end of shift, 1 crate of supplies had been swapped for another housing a signal disruptor. A tower rebooted twice, mistaking its own comrades as intruders. They called it a glitch. The ghost was in the ventilation shafts. Too small for soldiers, but not for him. A junior tech in the control center swore as screens flickered. The cell feeds looped. By the time a supervisor arrived, the feed was back to normal, but 2 guards were missing from corridor G7. They were found later, unconscious, unarmed, afraid. And Ghost was already 3 levels deeper. He didn't kill them. He let them wake up, let them speak, let fear spread. Step 1. They thought it was a rat. Step 2. They realized it was something worse. Ghost reached cell 19, no key. He'd built a bypass using 6 stolen codes and parts collected over an hour. When the door hissed open, Cullen looked up. Skin flayed, eyes dilated, breath shallow. But when the shadow entered, he grinned. A single tear fell. "You're late," he whispered. The crooked ghost crouched beside him. "You're ugly," Kalin said. Ghost didn't respond, just injected a syringe into Kalin's thigh. Kalin laughed despite the pain. "You don't do this for just anyone. Did someone order you?" Ghost shook his head. No one had to. They exited during a staged fire drill. Red lights spun as a silent countdown ticked on every guard's handheld. Shadows moved. Steam hissed. No alarms. Only one wounded soldier being carried by something not quite human. No logs, no breach, no attacker. Just a corrupted stream and a whisper. One terrified guard, hours later, scrolled before fainting, "I think Earth sent a ghost." Ghost moved like smoke through sulphur winds. No prints, no paths, only silence. He bypassed safety systems, used weapons with reversed safeties, carried Kalin's half-conscious body over his shoulder. But Kalin held on. Not tight, just steady. "You still got that old combat knife?" he asked. Ghost handed it to him. "It's yours." Kalin smiled through cracked lips. "You make one ugly demon." They waited. Thermal charge slid across the floor, 10, then flash, magnesium light, ultrasonic blast. 3 soldiers down instantly, convulsing. Ghost dashed through the haze. He left the 4th alive, so the story would spread back to Kalin. "You walk, or I carry you again." "I'll crawl if I have to." They passed through an old service passage, mapped by memory. No GPS, no AI, only gut, only rage. 3 days underground, they reached a rusted bulkhead. Ghost pulled bolts free, one by one. Kalin leaned against the wall. "You always this quiet, or did they tear out your voice?" Ghost looked at him. "Words kill you, don't they?" They entered a damp cavern. No signals, no surveillance. 15 minutes, maybe less. Ghost planted a beacon, silent, cold. Kalin sat. "What if they don't show?" he asked. Ghost didn't answer. He only said, "If they don't come, I burn everything." And with that, the ghost disappeared. But the fire he started, it would spread. Kalin had sat up, barely holding his breath, as the terminal closed and came back to him. "I know that look," Kalin said quietly. "You're about to do something reckless." Ghost smirked weakly and corrected him. Calculated. "That's what reckless people always say." There was a faraway murmur, not from the air beneath it. Ghost paused. A faint thudding grew louder as engines dropped. These were not Dominion ships. One veered rapidly west beyond the ridgeline. Ghost didn't smile. His appearance was smooth, black, and without markings, and he arrived on time. He stood with his posture somewhat relaxed, turned on a beacon from his gauntlet, and pointed it at the sky. A narrow band signal pulsed once, just long enough for the ships to triangulate him. He had less than 5 minutes before they were within extraction range, without notifying the nearby CERN radar. But 5 minutes was a long time in a fight zone. According to a CERN squad from the South Ridge, shock soldiers had already broken through the compound's perimeter before they could spot him. Ghost squatted behind strategically placed cover, 8 of them, light armor, weapons that fired fast, and one with a heavier payload. They hadn't yet detected the extraction signal from his wrist-mounted drone controller. They'd let him leave, but not quietly. Kalin glanced up. "I've been a prisoner long enough," he muttered. "I'll hold them off." Ghost shook his head. "Not happening. For once, let me be someone else." He looked around and spotted a fuel pipe from the tower's original energy core buried beneath debris, still viable. He was reactive. Ghost pulled a plasma grenade from his vest, set the timing, and tossed it silently toward the debris. It exploded in a stream of flames and smoke, throwing debris skyward. The CERN team halted, confused. Half of them fled in the wrong direction. Ghost seized the moment. He moved with ruthless precision. In a flash, 2 CERN soldiers were disarmed. One dropped instantly, a strike to the throat. The others faltered. Ghost's spirit moved through the chaos like a surgeon, never staying long, never drawing too much fire. But it was already too late for the enemy. One of Earth's dropships had climbed the ridge, hovering. Back ramp open, cannons trained. A voice cracked over comms as the last enemy soldier was dropped by precise machine gun bursts. "This crow's nest bundle is over." Ghost didn't respond, just triggered a 2-on visual lock status. The ship dropped through the dust into the landing zone. He carried Cullen through the smoke and wreckage. Hands reached from inside to haul him on board. Even as the door closed behind them, Ghost's eyes searched the horizon. Medics were already stabilizing Kalen. The ship pivoted hard and soared skyward. Interior lights flickered dimly. Kalen, pale from blood loss, looked up at Ghost from the ruins of the prison below. "You always act like it was timed," he murmured. "Today's special, huh?" The screens inside the ship lit up with pirated feeds, overpowering CERN's official channels. They showed corrupted data, commanders wiping servers after the captives were freed. The last broadcast image haunted CERN intelligence. A man standing alone, face unreadable, a single word glowing across his chest. The stars beyond the dropship vanished into a spectral white stain, reminding them of how far they were from Earth and how little they understood. Ghost stood near the rear hatch, arms folded. NAR-7 shrank behind them.